recording it on Teams if you need to grab Teams afterwards. Walking is one of the most frustrating things as an animator to do, but once you can actually do a really nice walk cycle, animation becomes quite easy. We don't want to see boring, robotic, yucky walks with no personality. We want to be having personality in our walks. Yep. That's right. I can't hear you. Oh, the code, the attendance code. Sorry, I couldn't hear you there. Where's the attendance code? There we go. Has everyone got the attendance code now? Yeah. Everyone got it. Okay. So we've got all the files here. I've created this reference movie here that we're going to use. This was a previous student who went out. There's even Gordon there filming. Look at Gordon. So this is 31 frames long, this here. I tried to put a frame count on it, but it was acting really strange. The frame count wasn't linking up to the frame count in Maya for some reason, but it's 31 frames long. This is a full cycle, and that's all we want to see you animate. We want you to use the rig from the assessment. So see how I've filmed from front, back, and side. So you want to get reference like this to use for your final assessment. We're just going to use this little rig here. We're just going to use the little, I've got the half cycle blocked, and then I've got the rig here. We can just open up the start scene from this morning and use the one that we've coloured already because it's got all the coloured legs and everything. So we could just open the side step rig, the very start scene. I also want you to grab that reference movie and load it into Canovio. And I want you to draw over, before I tell you, I want you to draw over the contact positions and the passing poses of this walk cycle. I want you to think of how the hips are, what way the hips are facing, how they're rotating. Because in a walk cycle, our hips are moving in quite a lot of directions. They don't just move in one axis. Like when you even when you take your leg back, there's a bit of twist in your hip backwards as well. So you want to be aware of what the center of gravity is doing, what the pelvis and the legs are doing. The stride, the gait is really important as well in a walk cycle. Does anyone know what a gait is? Does anyone know what a gait is? No, so it's your stride length. So the stride length of how far the feet are apart is your gait. So to make your walk cycles natural, we don't all measure the same 1 meter or something every time we walk. That would look a bit strange. So we all have different gaits, and that is the distance between how far the legs are apart from each other. So you want to be looking at things like that when you're animating as well. You want to be using a character that's similar to the proportions of your reference, or it is quite difficult to animate. I had one girl do a creature animation with me once, and she downloaded this Great Dane rig with really long legs, and then she used a little sausage dog as reference, and it just looked weird. Her timing was out, her strides were out. It felt like the Great Dane was trying like to take tinier little steps than a Great Dane would. It just looked a bit weird. So reference is really important. There's also understanding the foot controllers in a walk. So what I do is, if everyone wants to get up just for a second and just do half a cycle to here. Does anyone want to do half a cycle? So just go like heel down, and then our weight rolls on to the flat. then our toe, our ball, and then our toe. So in a rig, in a good rig, we have these attributes that allow you to lock the foot off on the ground. So we need to put our heel attribute on when our foot contacts the ground. By this point, our foot controller is not translating, is not rotating, is not moving. Our foot controller is completely locked off, and we're pushing the attributes through. We're using the attributes of that foot, not the actual controller. You can use the controller when you're passing pose. So when the foot's in the air, you can grab that foot controller and translate it and rotate it till it gets to this point. Then it locks off through this part and then it lifts again. Does that make sense to everyone? Yeah. So I want everyone to load this in for a minute or two and pick out your contact positions and tell me what frame they're at. You can change Kanovi to frames, so it should have the same frames in there. I made some sequences in here, unless you wanted to load it into Maya to have inside Maya. I've got image sequences there for you too. Does everyone understand what we've got to do to start in a minute? Yeah, just something to do. Have a little. What for me? Oh yeah, it's moving. It's the position. It's called position. Oh. Yeah, it's that. Yeah, there's position. Yeah, if anyone's looking for the frames, it's called position. At the very bottom of Kanovi. A lot of robots. I don't see any animation. You're not in that class, that's it. Are you sure? You just look, you're joking. Who's in the animation class today in here? Or are you all going to pretend you're in a robot class? I'll keep this lecture quick then today, and then you can get on with finishing robots. I want you to write down the contact position and the up position, the passing position. Hello there. We're going to just use the same one we used this morning for the side step. But if you open Kanovi now, this software, and yeah, and look at the frames, that's your frames there. That's not your. If there's a second, that is Q. What's that? And just write down on like which frame is the contact position, which is the passing position. So like just you could write it on your phone or notes or something. Just that frame 1 or frame 2 or whatever contact position or passing position. What I would really have loved to have done is get everyone out and we film each other walking and doing like body mechanics and stuff like that together. She wants to be looking at the line of action through the pose as well. You want to be looking at the feet position as well, because a lot of people do horrible walk cycles like this. Even look at how this back foot, if everyone looks at this back foot here and I scroll through, look at how it comes through in an arc and lands here. You could imagine a lovely arc going from there to here. A lot of people just get fixated by the side view and forget to look at how the weight the transmission of weight goes from each leg on the front and back views. So you have to be aware of this view as well. A lot of people just get stuck on the side view and forget how the body moves and all the other views. If anyone in here's done lots of walk cycles before, feel free to use this reference and block out the rig from the brief if you want, choosing the right poses and blocking it out. There's a quick way to block this out, a little bit like we did with the side step. So there's quick ways we don't just copy every single frame and pose it. Also, if you're recording reference, try not have baggy hoodies on or baggy tracksuits and stuff like that, because it's really hard to see the body mechanics when you've got really baggy clothing on. Hello there. First of all, you want to looking at it in Kenobi. Have you looked at it in Kenobi first? Have you written down what are the contact positions and the passing positions? So yeah, do that first, and then I'll show everyone how to put the images in. You might want to copy all of the movie to the movies folder of your project you're working in and copy the sequence images to the source images. You can even draw over in Kenobi. You can draw like across your reference, draw like lines of action, draw even the gate stride, the distance of the gate here. The main thing is to worry about where is the center of gravity, where is the weight on the center of gravity, and look at each of these to find out where the weight would be. So for instance, say this frame here, where do you think the weight is? If you look at the front and back view, which leg do you think the weight is on? It's also not good to do your reference with hard working boots or still like really stiff boots because it's really hard to see all the attributes in your foot. Does anyone want help or okay? Oh, it brings you there. Extract this is your assignment doesn't need to get friends. That's images that should be Yeah, he's actually, I got him to take saturate. Because you can't really, when you walk, and you can't sleep in this. Feel free to go ahead and block out the animation if you want, but I will demo it as well for you. So what we're going to do now is I've already made all the keys here for you. So this is the main contact position. And this is the half contact position halfway through the cycle. What you do is you key this pose first. Then you go to frame 15, you key this pose. Then you go to frame 7 and key this pose. Then you go to frame 3 and then frame 10. That's the order of how you animate. So we do the 2 contact positions first. Remember, this is just half a cycle. It's not a full cycle we're going to demo, just half a cycle. So if I open all of these up here, so that's the first one we pose. That's the second one. And of course, you'll have one at the end at 31. The last contact position will be around here, but we're just going to block out half a cycle and you will do the rest of the cycle afterwards. So we do this, we block 0 frame, this pose, then we do 15, then we work back to 7, and then we do the anticipation-y poses 3 and 10. Does that make sense to everyone? So everyone, open up your scene. There is a few, I did pop an old leg scene in here. I'm just going to see what it's like. But I might just use the same one from this morning because I prefer the colours in this one. So I think I'm just going to use this one. Just going to get the new scene up. Going to open up just the... So you should have this scene, open the scene up. The most important thing when you are doing walk cycles is try and do them on a horizontal or vertical axis. Don't try and animate your walk cycles on a weird diagonal across here. If my character had to go from here to here, I would do the walk cycle this way first, and then at the end get the top node and position him this way so he walks to this corner. It's really difficult to animate a walk cycle on a diagonal. I'm going to set this camera up this time to the side view. So I'm going to go orthographic side view. So everyone should have cameras like this. You've got your side view. Oh, wait a second. I'm going to do it the reverse side view because of the reference. So I'm going to reverse it and do the right side. Oops. So everyone should be walking this direction, the way the reference is. So your scene should be set up this way. Try and not work with reference and then try and animate the opposite direction in Maya. That's also a nightmare to do. So if my reference is going this direction, then you want to set your cameras that way because it can get really confusing. You can load your reference in here if you want to. I don't really like having my reference in here. I prefer to have it separate or on another monitor. But if you want to load it in, you can. You can load it in with the image planes and just import image and then make it an image sequence. You have to first copy the image sequences that I've created for you on Teams. You have to copy them into your source images of that project. So there's the SQ images there. That's the images in here. So if you copy and paste that into your project. And that's them there. So you can bring them in if you want it. I don't really like them in the background, but I'll quickly show you how to bring them in if you want to use them. So go to View, Image Plane, Import. Select the first one, go Open. Then go down here, use image sequence. And that should hopefully work. Let's see. So there's your image sequence up to 30 there. It starts at 0, so that's 0 to 30. So make your time slider 30. And that's what we're going to animate, just a full cycle. You can line your reference up if you want. It's up to you. But I don't actually like having it in there. I've never really liked having it in my scene. So you could set it up if you want it in here, just by moving it in the. Oh, I hate the image plane things. There we go. So it's up to you if you want it in there. And then it stopped working for some weird reason. I don't know, I think it's broken. It's killed it. Won't let me select it either. It's so strange. So I'm going to just open up a new scene and just forget about the image plane because I don't really like using them in there. There we go. And remember to put this on the left. So we're all going in the same direction as the reference. And I color coded the legs so we know which legs to use. Your button works. Check that your button is working. Check there's no animated keys on here. Set your time slider to 30 and 0. We're not going to use this controller to slide or walk forward. We're not going to be going like this, because you'll get a lot of foot slide. We're actually going to be using the foot controllers and the center of gravity controller the most, with a bit of the hip movement. Keeping an eye on these little pole vectors, the little knee controllers. Wherever they go, the knees will follow them. So make sure that they're always out front of the knees. And we're going to open up our first pose. Our first pose is this one here. We're going to position the feet into these positions here. We're going to have the center of gravity in this position as well. Looking at the hips and the gait. There will be a slight difference in the gait because this character's got slightly different proportions. So what I do first is I get the first pose at frame 0. I first check I don't get confused with which leg goes forward, which leg is left behind. I'm going to do the front leg forward. See, it's breaking. You don't want to have you don't want it to go like this, your leg ever. There's a breaking point on the foot controller. You've got to feel that breaking position here. So you need to move the center of gravity down and forward a little bit on the Z axis. I'm not going to worry too much about all the axes today for this demo. But you just have to gradually make sure your feet are on the 0 floor, so they're not going through the floor or living like hovering above the floor. Watch that leg pops. Do you see the popping? It's because that foot controller is going too far away from the foot. So you have to move the center of gravity forward a little bit more. This green one, we don't want really the green one to go off the floor. It's got an attribute on it. So we're going to put that attribute on it. So select the blue controller, go to your foot roll attributes, middle drag left and right to get a rough attribute like that. That's called the foot roll. Select it, not the number, select the name and hold middle mouse back and forth. We'll go through all the attributes of the foot controller. Slide. It's a lot of sliding the center of gravity forward, sliding the red foot forward to get the first initial pose posed. Then you need to put the attribute on of the front foot. So we need to use the foot roll of the front foot, and it's this attribute. It's a kind of heel attribute. And slide it a little bit further to make the gate a bit bigger. A lot of people, when you first start out doing walk cycles, you get horrible walk cycles where the character walks with really, really bent knees, or you get the ones that look like they're in leg braces that have just come out of A&E. So people either do these weird straight-legged walk cycles or these really weird bent walk cycles. So try and avoid things like that. So you just have to do a little bit of tweaking. You have to be aware of where the weight is at the moment on this pose. You see his how his pelvis is, what his pelvis is doing, things like that you want to be looking at. Because this leg is back, do you see the green leg is further back in the reference? We need to rotate the center of gravity a little bit back on this axis as well. And it has a bit of a rotation this way as well. And then the weight is a tiny bit over towards on this axis here. Also look at our feet positioning in the front view. Even though we're just animating on a side view camera, you still want to be aware of this view. Look at your reference of this view. So if you look at the front view, look at where the back leg is and look at where the front view is. Is there this big a gate this direction with our characters? So we want to be grabbing the back foot and just translating it a little bit on this axis and the front foot a little bit on this axis. You want to be looking at the walk from all angles, looking at the rotation of the foot as well, the position of the foot. So if you bring that reference back up, you want to be looking at the position of this foot and the position of this foot. So if I rotate down, you can do a little bit of hip movement on there as well if you want. You can check the hips a little bit, check the hips this way. You can slide this controller, make sure the foot controllers are at 0 translation on the Y. That is the ground position, 0. So make sure when the foot's always on the ground, it's on 0. So bring up that image again. Where's that image? If you're doing this for the whole character, the full body character, you'd be looking at the spine, the shoulders, the arms, everything like that. You'd be blocking all that pose out as well at the same time. So it does take a little while to just get this first pose sorted, but then the rest becomes a lot faster. Beware of where your pull vectors are. Beware of where they are. These little balls.
Are you sure about this? So basically, I've got.
So say we're happy with this pose, it's roughly like our reference. We could go back into the blue attribute and make the toe roll even more like bent if we wanted, or straightened. Once we're happy, select all controllers at frame 0, hit S. Looking at your pose all directions as well, making sure it looks lovely all of the directions of your walk. Our pelvis, like our center of gravity when we're walking through our walk cycle, the contact positions, the height of it on the y-axis tends to be this, like the average height. Then when we apply weight down here, our center of gravity goes down in the Y. Then the passing pose, our center of gravity starts to lift. And then when it's coming out of the passing pose, it's lifting a bit more. And then it goes back into the average contact positions height. Does that make sense? So we have a nice kind of S shape with our, kind of goes like this and then levels off. So 15 and 0 are about the roughly the same height in the Y. The other ones go down to, and then the passing and then the up. Does this all kind of make sense to everyone? Yeah. Save your scene with your first pose. Make sure that you say, like you key it as well. Key your, I'll just put walking. Contact poses. So once you've got frame, does anyone need any longer to pose frame 0? Do you need a few more minutes, anyone? If you don't, go to frame 15 and pose frame 15 now. So frame 15 is just the same, but on the other leg. So it's the reverse of this. But what we do is we're constantly, this isn't a walk cycle on the spot I'm teaching you. I'm teaching you a walk cycle moving forward. So we're not walking on the spot for this demo because it gives you a more better sense of weight shift as the character's moving forward. So frame 15, this time we don't touch this controller. The pink leg stays there. The foot controller of the pink leg doesn't move anywhere. We translate the green leg through. So move the center of gravity forward. Doesn't matter if the leg looks like it's flying off at the moment. Grab the green one and translate it forward. Take it out of its attribute, its foot roll attribute, 0 it out. Put it on the heel, because that's the heel attribute, that one now. Oh my God, what happened there? Oh my God, sorry about that. I'll repeat it, don't worry. That's so weird. Do you know what's happened, anyone? Because my screen's fine. That's really weird. So strange.
Wrong way around. It's needs a sort of.
Can you see it? Oh my God, what's happened? Gordon, have you ever seen this happen? That's because my screen's fine. What's this shared desktop? There we go. That is so weird.
It's on HDMI, is it?
Yeah, I've not even touched it, just bombed off. I'm going to stop the recording.